Come on. Come on.
Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video. So what we are going to dive into today is how you are going to get lean and smash your diet phase, your cut, whilst you're working a 9 to 5. So I'm going to base this off if we were eating 2,500 calories, right, on the standard day. Obviously, at times, we're going to need that to be less. You might be starting on higher food. If you are, fantastic. But let's use that 2,500 calorie mark for a mark that we probably all need to be at, whether that's a point where we're starting at or whether that's for you, low food, and that's towards the end. It will still give you the idea of how we're setting up the day and what we're looking at with making those changes there. As that food does come down, which at some point is gonna have to. So let's say we're going off around 170 protein, 300 carb, and around 50 grams of fat. Roughly, they were our ballpark numbers. So within that, obviously affecting it, protein, we're going for around a gram per pound of body weight. So if you are, say you're working kilo, you might be 70 kilo, we're going to be looking for 150, 160 grams of protein. At a minimum, say you work in pounds and you are 180 pounds, you know you're going to need at least 180 grams of protein. Carbs, we can change a little bit on how you feel best, where you feel best. We're going to be around those calories, anywhere from that 30 to 50 grams of fat mark. So the rest is just going to be carbohydrates. Keep those carbs as high as we possibly can. That's what's going to fuel your performance when you're in a fat loss phase. Remember, we want to keep hold of that performance strength in the gym. Hold the muscle whilst we get the body fat down. Fats we want at a good level, hormonally, health-wise, we're then in a good spot. So let's say we are training before work. So these are the two options we've got: training after work and training before work. That's going to affect most things now. So we've got our non-negotiables, which are going to be our macros, our training sessions, our steps, and our cardio. So they are what we have to keep on top of as our non-negotiables. So let's say we're up and we're training before work. So we're probably gonna need to train around 6, 7 o'clock. So that meal one is probably gonna be 5 or 6. Now, we've got two options here. Whichever one we go with, the most important thing is hydrating. So just think you've just not drank anything for 8 hours when you've just been asleep or however long it is. Make sure you hydrate first thing and you have your electrolytes. Electrolytes and hydrate, that is number one by an absolute mile. So number two then, what we are looking at is, right, carbohydrates. We want something in the morning that's gonna be nice, fast-acting carbs. This is where we'll keep those fats a little bit lower because fats will slow down those carbohydrates, or the digestion of those absorption of those. We want to ensure that that's going to be fast so we can use that because we're probably going to be eating a little bit closer to training than we might like to ideally. So we can go with something super small within that. We might go with something that's going to be super quick, like on those calories, nice bagel thin jam, crumpet jam, sourdough jam. We might go with cream of rice. We might go with cereal. We might roll with just a squares bar. We might roll with a banana and a squares bar. So we've got some carbs coming in. We might have some rice cakes with some honey, right? Whatever we want to go with there, something that's going to digest well, carbs coming into training. Now, if you really, really don't like eating before you train, then one thing we can do as well is we can just utilize an intra workout. So for example, cyclic dextrin, we could have 25, 50 grams of carbs that you are drinking whilst you actually start your session. So then we're getting that super fast acting carbohydrates without actually having to eat anything. If you need to wake up quite close to when you're training, that might be when we just go for an intra workout. But I would advise you to have some sort of carbohydrates. If you feel great fasted and you want to roll with that, that's absolutely fine, but make sure you hydrate. So that's going to be meal one there when we're going in. So if we are training in the morning, then we're probably not going to be doing cardio and steps after that. And I will go through what the game plan is with that if we did need to do it. We're going to cover cardio and steps, but let's just talk food for now. So meal two, we're going to want to get a little bit of protein in there now, and we're going to want to get some carbohydrates in because we've just depleted all of our glycogen stores whilst we train. We probably want to get them back in. We want to start that recovery process. We probably don't want to go to work when we've not had any fuel there and we're just feeling a little bit flat, a little bit draggy. Once you've just trained hard, that's not what we want. So meal two is going to be something very similar to what we've just had there. You probably don't want I mean, you could have a rice meal, a pasta meal, a potato meal. If we wanted anything there with that, that's absolutely fine. But you're probably gonna need something super quick and easy. So we might wanna go with cream of rice. We might wanna go with a cereal. We might wanna go with something like our Weetabix with our whey, maybe a little bit of dark chocolate for fats. We might want to go with oats, whichever we wanted to use there, nice and simple. So keep it super simple there across those. Pre-workout's going to be smaller. Meal 2 is going to be like the first bigger meal, if you like. So that's where I would push a good chunk of those carbohydrates in there. So across those two, we're probably looking at least 80 grams of carbohydrates for these calories. So then meal 3 is probably going to be 12 or 1 in that midday slot. So that's when we're looking for pretty much just a basic spread of everything now for these other meals, because prioritize carbs around our training. We just want a basic spread of everything. So meal 3, we want to get a decent bit of protein, decent bit of carbs again, and then just some fats in there again. So if there's no direct fats in the meal, again, we might want to use something like our peanut butter, something like our dark chocolates to drive those fats in. If we have, say, beef mince with this meal, we might not need to add any fat. So let's say we used a lean protein source, we had our chicken breast, we have our beef mince, and we had that prepared. If we wanted to meal prep for the week, I'd keep this one just super simple. We could even use just, say, microwavable rice that we're gonna have and take with us. That's absolutely fine. If we wanna put that with our chicken, if we wanna put that with our beef. So typically midday meal, lean protein source, chicken breast, beef mince. We could put that with our pasta, our rice, wraps if we wanted something super easy, and just any veg, any salad of your choice, and a low fat sauce. If we roll with that, smashed our session, recovered there, got a good hit of protein in, got a meal that's gonna satiate us nicely, and then we're pretty much good to go with work then. So just turn that food brain off in between these meals. Snacks, don't even worry about them, turn the food brain off. You know what times you can eat, use that to your advantage. Turn the food brain off in between, just look forward to that next meal. So then meal 4, you're probably gonna have either on your way home or when you get home. So if you wanna save a bit of a bigger gap for that meal later on, this is when we might have, say, some Greek yogurt and some fruit would be a fantastic meal to have in there. We get some protein, we get some micronutrient intake. Again, if we've not used dark chocolate or those little bits like that we're not getting from our meats or those other things, if we're not using avocado or we're not having eggs. Eggs is another meal we could throw in there. You could make some eggs with some sourdough nice and quick and keep it a little bit smaller. We could go with Greek yogurt, that fruit, whey. Nice and simple, quick and easy. So then you've got this 600, 700, 800 calorie gap for the evening. You probably want that. You probably want to wind down, say you sat with the missus or whatever, and you want to make a nice simple meal and have that there. So if you keep there 1, 2, 3, and 4 the same, and you just literally don't have to think, you just get them done. That's perfect. The last meal then, we're just rounding off calories, literally. So we've got that gap. Say again, if we use carb source, protein source, any fats we need, a sauce of our choice, a veg of our choice. We can use pasta, we can use beef mince, we can use chicken, we can use salmon, we could make a stir fry, we could make a lower fat spaghetti bolognese, we could make any sauces we want to use with our chicken and rice. We've got so many options there, right? You could use wraps again if you wanted to. Keep them for the same, have that bit of flexibility, and then round off the day. We don't want to eat too close to bed. That's going to affect digestion, so just try and keep that at least 60 to 120 minutes then before bed. And if you do that, that is your day absolutely nailed from a food standpoint. So let's say we're training after work. We've got the option to push that meal 1 back if we do want to, so we've got more calories for later, because obviously we're not training, right? So that's option number 1. Say we're eating before work, that's when we might want to make our eggs. If we want something on the go, we might make our oats and even take them with us and have something super cereal. So cereals we can use, our sourdough we can use, whether we wanted to put that with eggs or something else. Oats is a fantastic one as well, just super quick. You can even make that from the night before and have overnight oats. Something that's just going to be super simple there. So then meal 2 and 12 or 1 is going to be exactly the same as what we would do if we were training early. Now meal 3 is going to be our pre. So that's when we do want to be, say it's 5 o'clock and we're going to eat now before we go and train. That's when we want a good amount of carbohydrates. Now if we need something that's super quick and easy, again, like we would with the fasted, we might use our intra, our squares bars, our banana, our honey, our rice cakes. Something super simple, right? If we've got a little bit more time and you can eat at work and then it's been an hour and then you go and train, we might be able to have our cereal. We might be able to take, again, oats with us, cream of rice with us, something like that, so we've got some more carbohydrates. So just make sure you're prioritizing carbohydrates there before you train. Post-workout then, again, it's probably going to be getting on 8 o'clock. We might then need to have the same meal as when we're on earlies. You might want to save that gap there. As long as we've got a good solid amount of protein coming in, we've got carbohydrates there, we're then rounding off our fats for the rest of the day, the options there are endless. So again, if you keep, for a nice balance, up to that meal, last meal, keep them the same. And then have options there of that last meal. If you don't even want to think about it, you've got it there. But if you do want to make some things and make macros work, then you've got the choice. So then you've got the meal plan approach, you've got the macronutrient approach, you cannot miss with that. If digestion's good, we're flying from a food standpoint. When we were pulling calories from that then, I would try and keep the carbohydrates around training as high as possible for as long as possible. Eventually, you'll have to pull everything down, but try and keep that there for performance. So obviously training wise, make sure those days are set, you know what you're doing, and the sessions are as efficient as possible so you're not wasting time. Get your feeders done, get working, then take your time with your working sets, focus on that quality, focus on driving that, do not waste time scrolling. So when it comes to steps and cardio, when we're training fasted, of course we can do a little bit of cardio afterwards and we want to be trying to pick up those steps throughout the day. So you've got options. We could fit in that cardio if it was 20 minutes, we might be able to fit that after training and get it done, boxed off first thing. Easy work, let's go for that. You might want to save that for the evening. Say it might be worth nipping to the gym straight away on your way home, getting your cardio done. You might have your cardio to do at home, you might have a bike there and you can do that at home. That's all great. So what I would do is, if you were training in the morning, either cardio post-workout or as early as you can in the evening then so it's done. Steps, obviously parking further away through the day, making those smart decisions through the day. Try and get on for a nice little walk. It's going to help with digestion as well on your dinner. Try and have that, go for a walk, get 3,000-4,000 steps done. You've already been to the gym, so you're going to be on 5,000-6,000 steps by then. And then after work, it's just going for, at some point, a nice little evening half an hour walk, and steps are done. And that would be everything done, cardio, training, food, nailed. You can then wind down for when you're having that last meal and that's done. Then set that bedtime. You've then got that wait time as well. So if we're training later, we might have time in the morning to go and do some cardio. Get up and do your cardio. You might want to do that fasted at home and get that done. So we might want to do that, get to work, and then we've got to go and train in the evening, and it keeps it away from that. That's fine. We might actually want to do our cardio post-workout. That's absolutely fine. If you want your time in the mornings, we'd go get a couple of steps done, do that there, again, midday. And then in the evening, that's just when it gets tricky. Really try and do a good chunk in the day if you can. If you've got half an hour, get some steps done there, because then it's going to save you time in the evening, right? But if you want to save that cardio for post-workout, I'd really try get some done in the day. But remember, you're not in this fat loss phase forever, and this is the thing now. So that's the setup that we want across the day. If you do that, pulling the calories down when we need to, moving the steps up when we need to, moving the cardio when you need to, as long as you're prepared and you prepare those meals and you just keep them simple and keep them the same, then you cannot go wrong. Use this schedule to your advantage. You know when you can train, when you can eat, when you can do steps. So set that up with your day and just do it no matter what. You can't go wrong. Remember, doesn't need to be sustainable forever. You're not in a fat loss phase forever. If you're on 2,200 calories for the last 4 weeks, you need to do that for 4 weeks, not forever. So lock in, get it done, and you can enjoy the time then when cardio is down, steps are down, and food is higher. Get that structure there, lock in with that. You can get it done. We have had some of our best results, not from coaches, from lads who are working a 9 to 5, high up in a 9 to 5, and have got a lot of responsibilities and stuff to get done, and busy schedule and stuff outside of that. Look at the week ahead, set the non-negotiables, structure it. You can get lean doing that, I promise you. So any other topics you want me to dive into, then please let me know. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you're subscribed. Videos come in every single Wednesday and Sunday, so do not miss out. And I'll catch you in the next one, boys. Peace. Thank you very much for watching another video. Videos are coming every single Sunday and Wednesday, so if you want more, you need that content there, make sure you subscribe. Drop me a comment with anything that you want to see. The link to coaching is down below. The link to the Perform discount is down below. For more daily content, Luke Whitney Coach. I'll see you in the next one.